Stardew Valley is by far one of my favorite games ever created. In fact, I have almost 600 hours in it. You can play it at your own pace, meet the love of your life, or even completely max out your farm. But I have a confession. I have never hit perfection before. So to try to help with that, I played a full year of Stardew Valley while challenging myself by making a set of goals to see how far I could get. I wanted to complete the community center within year 1, max all of my skills, and receive all 7 star drops, all within the first year. Yeah, we have a lot of work to do, so let's begin. To start things off, I went ahead and chose the forest farm because I always struggle maxing out foraging within the first year. And of course, we had to click the guarantee 1 year completion button for the community center because that's kind of what this video is about. With all the technicalities aside, let's head into spring year 1. I started this lovely spring off with opening the gift from Mayor Lewis that included 15 parsnip seeds. After planting those suckers into the ground, I cleared off more of my farm and trotted all the way to Pierre's to buy all of the seeds that I would need for the community center. While I was introducing myself to the townfolk, I felt a chill in the air. It was Haley. I have never romanced Haley before, but there was something in the air this day and I chose her for this playthrough. She will love me. Eventually. For the remainder of the day, I introduced myself to more of the townfolk since I didn't have much of a plan for day 1. Wow, they're all really welcoming here. On day 2, I planted all of the seeds I had bought the previous day and got a letter from Willie saying to meet him at the dock. To get every fish caught within the first year, I gotta catch the legend this spring, who, by the way, only shows up when you're level 10 fishing and it has to be raining that day. So I immediately got to work. I tried to fish as long as I physically could, but with the early game energy levels, I struggled. Right after fishing, I got my first artifact and immediately donated it to the museum. 1 down, 94 more to go. I also tried to complete the introduction quest, but alas, I did not get to everybody. But when I went to bed that night, I hit level 1 fishing and level 1 foraging. Weird gaming. Whoa, my bad, I did not mean to jump scare anybody. Since it was raining, I wanted to take advantage of it and try to catch a catfish, despite me only being level 1 fishing. After a few fish, I had finally encountered a catfish and I blew it. Hey, I never said I was good at fishing. Eventually, I was able to catch one and I headed up to the mountain lake for some different fish. That fish collections tab is not going to fill itself. I did hit level 3 fishing though, so a quarter of the way there. The next morning, I waited ominously outside of Haley's door to give her her first ever gift. Our love, it was blossoming. I also was able to buy the fiberglass rod from Willie's. For the remainder of the day, I just spent it fishing and chopping down trees on my farm. On day 5, I woke up to the cutest little kitty on my doorstep. And Marnie too, I guess. I named him Meowth because that was the only name that just felt right. I got to harvesting my parsnips and triggered the cutscene for the community center opening. Look at Lewis being emo. Once I got done with the community center, I went to go gift Haley again and she ignored me. Anyways, we bought more parsnip seeds from Pierre and we, shocker, fished some more. It was also traveling cart day, so I rushed all the way over there and nothing. Well, at least I tried. I also got another artifact on the beach and hit level 1 farming. On day 6, I finally had the basic fertilizer recipe, so I fertilized all of my parsnips to hopefully get those gold quality parsnips that I needed for the quality crops bundle. And then I got a letter from the wizard basically asking me to have an acid trip with him. Didn't know we were cool like that, bro, but okay. After that extravaganza, I was able to complete the spring foraging bundle, which unlocked the pantry and the aquarium. After watering all my crops on the morning of day 7, I decided it was finally time to hit the mines. And y'all, I think I forgot to check the luck on this day because I cleared out this entire room and did not find the ladder until the last 4 rocks. I also was just getting jumped by monsters every room I went to, so as soon as I hit floor 10, I was out of there. Luckily, that little mining excursion helps me craft a furnace and I was able to smelt my first copper bar. And I hit level 1 mining, so a win all around. On day 8, I spent the whole day fishing. That's it. Oh, and hit level 4 fishing. I spent most of day 9 cleaning up my farm and looking around for artifact spots around the town. I also gifted Haley and got my first heart with her. She also kind of complimented me, so that was pretty sweet. Anyways, while I was looking around for artifact spots, I only got 2 pieces of trash and a breadstick. So, not really a successful day. I went to bed and an explosion was heard in the night. A meteor came and hit my farm the same night I got 1 heart with Haley. Coincidence? I think not. I walked out of my house and realized that I completely forgot to place a scarecrow down, so a crow ate one of my quality parsnips. I harvested all of the parsnips and guess what? Only 4 gold quality ones. I bet I would have had 5 if that damn crow didn't get to them. But guys, I still didn't make a scarecrow after this. Why? I don't know. I started to fish while I was waiting on Pierre's to open and forgot it was Wednesday and he was closed. So I went back to fishing because it was raining and I love selling catfish. I sold all of my fish and donated some items to the community center. I went back to fishing since I had nothing else better to do and the money is always great. I got level 2 farming and level 5 fishing. I chose the fisher profession because that 25 price upgrade is so nice. I woke up and saw another crow eating my crops. I wonder why that happened. I finally crafted a scarecrow and bought more parsnip seeds from Pierre to get the last gold quality parsnip I needed. Remember how I said I was having some pretty bad luck in the mines? This should be able to explain that. Why am I being ambushed? I couldn't even get to floor 20 on this day. I was truly in shambles. I did get a dwarf scroll out of it and level 1 combat. Thanks, I guess. Day 12, I got my green bean for the community center, which meant I only needed the cauliflower to complete the spring crops bundle. I went and upgraded my axe since cutting down trees was a literal nightmare. It was also traveling cart day, so I went to check that out and I saw a fish stew in there. I bought it because with this fish stew, I only had to be level 7 to catch the legend, which makes it much more doable for me. I wish I could say I did anything other than fish this day, but then I would be a liar. Got level 6 fishing though. On day 13, my spring seeds were ready for harvest and it was the egg festival. I rushed over there and bought as many strawberry seeds as I could. I took my time to talk to everyone since I could use the friendship and took part in the egg hunt. I obliterated the kids and Abigail in the egg hunt and got the best hat in the game. Since festivals cut the day short, I spent the remainder of the day planting the strawberry seeds and lighting up my farm, if you can call this lighting it up. Day 14, it was raining. I was fishing level 6. You know what that means. I fished until I was level 7, checked my traveling cart because it was a Sunday, and it had a red cabbage seed, by the way. After I bought that, I booked it to the mountain lake and chugged my trout soup. It was time to catch the legend. I struggled a little bit, but my perseverance prevailed and I had caught the legend fish on spring 14. I carried that puppy all the way home and stuffed it in a chest for safekeeping. I woke up the next day and my beautiful fertilized parsnips were ready for harvesting. I got the gold parsnip that I needed and put that bad boy in the chest with the rest of them. I picked up my newly upgraded axe from Clint and opened up a ton of geodes. I made a fat donation to the museum and used the rest of my day to chop down trees and clean up more debris on my farm. I also hit level 3 farming and level 3 foraging along with level 2 mining. We're gaming! I finally hit the mines on day 16, my luck being exponentially better. I was jumping from floor to floor, which is a lot different than what I'm used to on this save. By 12 AM, I hit floor 35 and headed home for the night. On day 17, I spent the rainy day collecting all salmon berries on bushes around town. This will single-handedly solve my energy crisis, and I was just happy to have some reliable food. Level 4 foraging also. Yippee! My cauliflower was ready for harvest, which allowed me to complete the spring crops bundle, which opened up the boiler room, and the construction bundle, which opened up the bulletin board. I like to try and unlock the boiler room first since I think minecarts are an amazing way to move around very quickly early game, so I spent the rest of the day in the mines, and once I hit floor 40, I decided to call it a day. I started off day 19 with a delivery quest and accidentally stumbling upon Haley's 2-heart event. I thought it was a bit silly, but oh well, what can you do? Since I'm now on floor 40 in the mines, I went over to Clint's and upgraded my pickaxe to copper. I checked on my traveling cart and saw that she had a fried egg for me. It would be nice to buy this for the chef's bundle, but I held off on it for now since I was broke. On day 20, I walked out of my house and lost it. Of course the crow would eat the corner crop. 600 hours sunken into this game and I still don't know the radius of scarecrows. I moved the damn scarecrow to the middle of my crop so that would never happen again. Also, don't mind the state of my crops. They're trying their best. I fished for the remaining time in the day because I was so broke, and spent the rest of the night with my lover, Haley. Day 21, my strawberries were ready for harvest, and once I got done harvesting them, I went over to Pierre's to sell them and bought my first fruit saplings. I checked the traveling cart and went ahead and bought the rare seed in there just to get it out of the way. I headed over to Clint's to pick up my newly upgraded pickaxe, and also bought the maki roll recipe from Gus for the chef's bundle, just in case if I didn't get one in my traveling cart. And I bought a new sword so I could actually do some damage in the mines. I hit floor 50 and decided to hit the sack. I woke up to Demetrius asking if he can set up a science experiment in my cave. I went with the bats since I really believe the fruits help with completing the artisan bundle early. I watered my strawberries and got jump scared by an exploding trash can. I have never seen this before, hence my visible confusion here. I opened some geodes and donated what I got to the museum, and I hit 3 hearts with Haley. She was still ignoring me though. Day 23, I spent digging around trash cans and getting caught digging in the trash cans by Lewis. I went back to the mines to get more floors unlocked. I was trying to also finish the boiler room in the community center so I can unlock mine carts. I hit floor 60 and figured that was a good stopping point. The morning of day 24, I tended to my crops and it was time for the flower dance. I didn't know if I had hit 4 hearts with Haley or not to be able to dance with her. Only one way to find out. No, it's okay. I'm fine. It's fine. Since festivals make your day short, I spent the rest of the time I had chopping trees. Day 25 was yet another harvest day, and I also finally built a barn. I really wanted to see more levels coming in, so I spent a huge chunk of the day chopping down trees on my farm. I also finished the last bundle needed for the boiler room. Minecarts were now open. Day 26, I rummaged around the trash before I went to go upgrade my pickaxe. I wish I could say anything entertaining happened this day, but I just worked up on cleaning my farm and getting rid of the ugly bushes and trees everywhere. Since it was raining, I went ahead and fished for the eel since it was the only fish I was missing for spring. Skill check, we're doing all right. I really wanted to get the lightning rod recipe that unlocks at level 6 foraging before summer started, so of course I spent my whole day deforesting the entire valley for foraging experience. I also noticed I was pretty broke, so I fished until I ran out of energy, but I did level up to level 6 foraging and level 8 fishing. Kind of a big day, honestly. The final day of spring. I decided to start decorating and really build a nice layout for how I want my crops to be for summer. I also went and picked up my upgraded pick. As I was in the middle of decorating, I realized how truly broke I was for the end of the season. So in a panic, I went up to the mountain lake and just fished for the rest of the night. It was pretty peaceful until I felt something breathing down my neck. Sebastian tried to act like I was in the way when I had been there all day. I was so distraught by us joining pixels that I even overexerted myself. And when I tried to feed myself, Sebastian thought I was trying to offer him the algae. Eventually, he left me alone and I was able to get around 3,000 gold overnight. It's summertime, baby. You know what that means. Get land ready for crops, buy all the seeds you need, and slap those bad boys into the ground. I used fertilizer for the melons, and I think it was looking pretty good so far. For days 29 and 30, I decided to head back to the mines since a huge part of my goals is to get all 7 star drops, and we finally hit floor 100. First star drop, yay! The morning of day 31, I got Lewis's request for me to find his dirty underpants. Good morning to you too, good sir. Not sure why he's asking me, but whatever. I'll get to it when I can. I'm very busy fishing for the rest of the day. I even ended up reaching level 9 fishing. On day 32, I finally bought a cow for my barn. Now, I still couldn't break the meteorite that crashed into my farm the day I got 1 heart with Haley, but luckily I could finally get rid of the big ass boulders covering my farm. I went to the beach to open up the tide pools area since the mermaid pendant seller shows up there when it's raining, and I figured it would be great to just have it out of the way. That way, whenever I'm ready to pop the question, I can just go there while it's raining. At the start of day 33, I crafted and placed my first crab pot. This is where I was at with the artifacts and minerals. Could definitely be doing better, but that's okay. I also checked the traveling cart for anything I could use for the community center. no luck. On day 34, I built my first coop. That way, I can have chickens for the large eggs in the animal bundle. But since I bought the coop, I realized I was pretty behind on the money-making action. I went ahead and mined some gold so I can end up selling the bars for some extra cash, and got level 6 mining because of it. On days 35 through 37, I spent the entire days on fishing, trying to just get maxing it out of the way. But safe to say, I underestimated how long that was going to take. On day 38, I got the red cabbage for the dye bundle and the community center and got my first chicken. I also helped Haley with her jar problem, only to receive a backhanded compliment. All jokes though, right? I love you. Since I did a buttload of fishing the past few days, I decided to donate the ones I needed to the community center, along with any other random thing I had for the bundles. I actually completed the crab pot bundle, the summer foraging bundle, and the lake fish bundle. The morning of day 39, I was tending to my farm duties and the luau had begun. Luckily, I came prepared and had a lava eel ready for the soup. The governor was not ready for the best soup he has ever tasted before. It surprisingly leveled up quite a bit of people, and I got the new friend achievement. I even hit level 6 farming this day. Huge progress if you ask me. On day 40, I finally started making quality sprinklers for my farm. For the rest of the day, I sat my ass at the docks and fished my little heart away, trying to still reach level 10. Day 41, I finally got my first batch of melons harvested, and on the first batch, I got more than 5 gold quality melons. I crammed those into my chest and sold the rest to Pierre. Except I kind of forgot to keep one regular melon for the summer crops bundle, but oh well, I can just always get that the second harvest. I planted all 100 of my new melon seeds and planted some sunflower seeds for Haley, since, you know, they're her favorite. On day 42, I looked at all of the fish I had caught without a single level up, and figured I would go ahead and bite the bullet with buying the iridium rod, because for some reason I thought that would help in some way. I took that iridium rod straight to the east dock and started fishing for the crimson fish, which is the legendary fish of summer. Oh dear god. Oh, that's a lot harder than I remember. Yeah, I might have struggled a bit, but I got the job done in the end. We did it. When I went to bed that night, I hit level 7 farming and level 10 fishing and chose the angler profession. I don't know when I hit max fishing, but boy am I glad that it's over. Over the course of the next few days, I worked on a ton of community center bundles, made a tree farm for tappers, and really focused on the skills that needed leveling. We even had our 6 heart event with Haley. It was actually really sweet, until I swallowed my drink the wrong way and ruined it. Sorry. Oh my god, I just started dying. Anyways, I also spent day 45 being flabbergasted by pricing from Robin.
It's $12,000? Okay. Damn. When did this game get so expensive? Fine.
Like I haven't played this game multiple times in a row and know what the prices are. Day 46 was the Green Rain event, and I took advantage of it by getting some fiber and some seeds, along with talking to everyone in the saloon. Hi, did you sell a fresh melon to the general store the other day? I think I bought it. Are there monsters out there? What's happening? Girl. First you talk about my melons? Whoa, I didn't even mean it like that. No. I went shopping last night and picked up a blueberry on sale for only 50 gold. It was horrendous. No wonder Pierre was selling that crap for so cheap. I think he just shit-talked my blueberries. And you know what? For the amount of times that I have shit-talked Clint, I probably deserve that a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. And I even tried to play the arcade games, but failed miserably. Wait, they didn't even touch me. What? I went ahead and called it an early night since I never really know what to do for this day. Everything is closed and I had nothing else to do. I started day 47 off with checking my traveling cart and actually got the fried egg this time. I even upgraded the barn to the big barn so I could introduce goats into the farm for the large goat milk needed for the animal bundle. I also got some fruits from my fruit cave that I needed for the artisan bundle. I went to the mines to end off the day and got to floor 110. Days 48 and 49 were filled with so much money and skill grinding. I finally was able to purchase the goat and stumbled upon the trout derby. I have never done the trout derby before, so I stayed there all day only to realize I had found it on the last day and couldn't get all of the prizes. Oh well. There's always next year. Day 50, guys, we are halfway there. I harvested my blueberries and sold them to Pierre, only to spend all of the money on an apple tree sapling for the fodder bundle in the community center. I had to make sure I got 3 apples in the fall, so that's why I bought this so early. I realized I was missing 2 of the dwarf scrolls that I needed, so I went on a journey in the mines with my unupgraded hoe and started to dig for them. Mystery boxes could now be found. Oh, and level 5 combat, baby. On day 51, I was still looking for the dwarf scrolls, but one of the dust sprites dropped a fancy looking pirate hat. I slapped that shit on and continued with my hunt, only to find the scroll I was looking for a few minutes later. Thank you, pirate hat. Day 52 started with me opening geodes and donating what I got to the museum. I've been slowly but surely building up my museum donations, which are looking pretty snazzy if I do say so myself. I also am making some pretty good progress in my community bundles, but what I really need is the vault bundles done for the Calico Desert. With the latest melon harvest, I was able to finally complete the summer crops bundle and bought a pomegranate sapling for the enchanters bundle. I paid a little visit to the bookseller since I had a little bit of extra cash and bought the price catalog so I knew what everything would be priced for. Very useful. I am very glad this thing exists. I ended day 53 with finally getting the last dwarf scroll I needed to be able to talk to dwarf. I checked my traveling cart on day 54, nothing. I also bought some coal from Clint to finish up my quality sprinklers. I chopped down a lot of trees this day and spent $2 grand on a green bow that I wore for like 2 weeks. Level 8 foraging. We're really getting somewhere here. On day 55, I deforested the entire valley again and cleaned up my farm. Yay! Very exciting stuff. It's day 56, the last day of summer, folks. When I checked on my traveling cart, I saw a Maki roll, and I bought that shit for the chef's bundle. I also went to upgrade my axe to a steel axe. I went and built my first silo. I'm not sure what took me this long, but there it is. After building the silo, I cleared off a chunk of my farm and set up another crop system for more income in the fall. Oh, and the Dance of the Moonlight Jelly started, and I spent it with the love of my life, Haley. Social distancing, of course. I finished setting up my extra crop space and headed off to bed. Ah, fall. The sounds of trees rustling in the wind, the crisp air, and the need for a buttload of more money. This season is the season where shit gets done, which is why after I planted all of my seeds, I went to the beach to put bait in my crab pots. Surely I do something else this day, right? No? Okay. Day 58, I made a mayo machine and finally started to make artisan goods. I'm really not sure why this took me this long. I also triggered the special orders board cutscene, so we have those now. I'm sure I'll do a lot of them to help me in this playthrough. I went and picked up my upgraded axe from Clint and used it to clean up my farm a bit more. I spent the rest of the night fishing for the collections tab and then hit the sack. Day 59, I kept on fishing until I got what I needed for the community center bundles. I also spent majority of it trying to do Linus's community cleanup quest. Spoiler, I did not finish it. On day 60, I bought a bouquet from Pierre and ran through the pouring rain into Haley's bedroom where I asked her to be my girlfriend. She accepted, but stayed in bed the entire time. Here's where we're at with the fishing, artifacts, and minerals collections tabs. Artifacts and minerals need some work, but that can all be helped with the Calico Desert. Day 61, I realized how much money was truly needed for the vault room and kind of freaked out. So I fished for the entire day in hopes I could complete that room the next day. Did we get there? Honestly, close, but not close enough. On day 62, I chopped down every tree in my path to try to get to level 9 foraging, and while I was on the way to absolutely demolish a squirrel's village, Haley gave me a compliment. My world stopped spinning. I had almost forgot what this was all about. Love. Anyways, I continued on with my demolition and kind of freaked out about my money situation and sold everything I was okay parting with. 11,000 gold wasn't bad, but I needed more of it if I wanted to buy a pig and finish the vault bundles. I totally forgot I had to upgrade my barn before I can even get a pig, so this really sent me to even more of a money crisis. So for the whole day, I fished and continued to sell everything else I was okay parting from. This unfortunately included my legendary fish. I thought about it long and hard, but it was a decision that needed to be done. A pig is 16,000 gold, and the vault bundles altogether were 42,000 gold. I needed around 40,000 gold to complete the two. I was running frantically around my farm until I was ready to hit the hay. The day's haul brought in 22,000 gold. Day 64 started beautifully because I completely finished the vault room. Finally, I could go to the Calico Desert. I put a chair in front of Pam's house because this causes her to move at Mach speed to the bus stop, arriving about 30 minutes earlier than usual. I spent the rest of days 64 through 66 grinding in the mines for coal and iron to make bombs and gathering blackberries, since I was planning on going to the Skull Caverns the next day. I also bought a pig and stumbled upon Haley's 8 Heart event. It really surprised me and made me feel like I chose the right one. What a cutie. With 135 blackberries and 78 bombs stuffed into my pocket, I was finally ready for the Skull Caverns on day 67. We had finally arrived. Calico Desert. I bought the spicy eel and even more bombs from the merchant and headed into the caverns. I wasn't expecting anything special this day, maybe some iridium or a prismatic shard, but dude, I was finding hole after hole. I even forgot to check the luck this day, so I was just winging it. By 9 p.m., I was on floor 86, and with a few more holes and ladders, I had hit floor 100. Didn't think we'd get this far, but on floor 101, I even got a prismatic shard. I wanted to keep going, but yeah, so pretty successful day if I do say so myself. On top of this lucky day, I even hit level 9 mining and level 6 combat. I needed this win. Day 68, I smelted my newly found iridium ore and took my prismatic shard to the desert to get the galaxy sword. I also bought some artifact troves from the trader. I took those troves straight to Clint and opened up all of them along with my geodes. I donated what I could to the museum and chopped down trees until I had hit level 9 foraging. The morning of day 69, I upgraded my coop and bought more pathing to start making my farm look a little nicer. I also got a new hat and immediately regretted it, so I went back to the straw hat, my tried and true. We were looking pretty good on our skill levels, but I really wanted to up my combat level some more. Day 70 was pumpkin harvesting day, and I finally had some money to fall back on. I went ahead and fished up all of the cave and desert fish that I needed for the collections tab, but I didn't get the scorpion cart because the bastard got away from me. But we maxed farming, yippee! I chose artisan because, ooh mama, I wanted that extra cash. I finally fished up the scorpion carp and donated so many things to the community center. I'm gonna try to say this all in one sentence, so y'all gotta bear with me here. I completed the fall foraging bundle, the quality crops bundle, the artisan bundle, the fall crops bundle, the night fishing bundle, the river fish bundle, and the specialty fish bundle. That's a lot of bundles. I don't even know if I'm gonna keep that in, bro. I started to decorate my farm with pathing, but got distracted and started deforesting the valley again. I don't know why I hate the ecosystem so much, but hey, glittering boulder removed. Day 72, I watered my cat and continued the task of trying to decorate my farm. I love decorating in Stardew Valley, but I haven't really found the time to do it. But speaking of no time, as I was decorating, the fair had begun. Luckily, behind the scenes, I had already put together a Grange display, so before I even entered the competition, I already knew Pierre was going to eat my shorts. But then I lost it all to gambling and had to fish for the tokens instead. Classic. Eventually, we were able to get the star drop from the store and ended the day. I started day 73 off with buying a duck and upgrading my farmhouse. Since Haley and I were at 9 hearts, it was getting pretty close to the time to pop the question. Oh, I hit 10 hearts with Haley. Well, good thing I upgraded the house. I spent the rest of the day mining for more bomb materials since I needed to work on that combat skill more in the Skull Caverns. Day 74, I showed my new duck some tender love and care and headed off to the Skull Caverns. I was only farming for Omni Geodes to help with my artifacts and minerals collections tabs. Looking back on this now, I wish I would have just cracked majority of the geodes I had gotten instead of spending them all on artifact troves, but oh well, you live and you learn. I was lucky enough to get a Pepper Rex floor and got a few bone artifacts that I was missing, so that was pretty cool. Day 75, it was raining, and you know what that means. It's time to pop the question. I ran as fast as I could in the pouring rain, only to remember my house was still being upgraded, so I had to wait one more day for it. It's fine. This is fine. By the way, I have been actively checking my traveling cart for anything useful, and I have gotten nothing. I just figured it would be boring if I kept saying I checked the woman and got nothing, so I also think I got electrocuted by a trash can on this day. Anyways, I bought the deluxe pack from Pierre and now I won't ever have to worry about running out of inventory space again. I went to go make a new hat and I came across Haley's 10 Heart event. I won't go into too much detail, but things got a little spicy. On day 76, I woke up and my house was exponentially bigger and it was still raining. Ladies and gentlemen, it was time to propose to Haley. I rushed over to her house in the pouring rain and it was locked. When I eventually got into the house, she was in bed again, but I went ahead and asked her anyways. She accepted, of course. Love you, my queen. I even upgraded my coop to the deluxe coop since I still needed a rabbit's foot. It also was Sweet Gemberry Harvest Day, so I saddled up and ran straight to the statue in the hidden forest. That star drop was mine. On day 77, Emily greeted me at my doorstep, telling me I could use her sewing machine now. Would have been great to have literally 2 days ago when I tried making a hat. I then went and cracked everything open that I had. I donated the bones that I had gotten from the Pepper Rexes as well, and we were looking pretty full in here. I also got my first truffle. I ran all the way to the community center and finished the chef's bundle. After the museum haul yesterday, Gunther came and told me I had basically hit the halfway point in the museum and gave me the key to the sewer. I trotted all the way to the sewer and bought the star drop from Krobus. While I was in the sewer, I went ahead and took the time to fish up the mutant carp. The rest of the day, I just spent cleaning up around the valley and trying to get the last foraging experience that I needed to completely max it out. I went to bed and would you look at that? Level 10 mining. I went ahead and chose blacksmith since I do sell a lot of bars in my free time. Day 79, Haley and I had our wedding, but all I could think about was getting her to 12.5 hearts so I could get the 5th star drop. I wasn't necessarily using her. Well, okay, yes I was. But I had actually really learned to love Haley as a character through this playthrough. Speaking of, right before I was going to bed, she, made a move. I genuinely did not know how to respond, so I just went straight to bed. Huge money night though. Day 80, I bought my first rabbit. I really needed that rabbit's foot for the Enchanter's bundle. I upgraded my pickaxe to a gold pickaxe and went straight to the mines with no pickaxe. I actually don't really remember what I was doing here. Maybe grinding combat? I don't know, but level 7 combat. Day 81, Haley baked me breakfast. I donated to the community center, which completed the fodder's bundle, a pomegranate for the Enchanter's bundle, and a duck egg for the animal bundle. I chopped down more trees and yeah, that was that for that day. Day 82, I picked up my axe from Clint and headed to the Calico Desert. I really needed to work on my combat skill, so I even went on a bad luck day to try and increase my chances of leveling up. Like by midnight, I was only on floor 25. It was pretty bad, but no level up. On the morning of day 83, I harvested my second batch of pumpkins and threw them all in the shipping bin. I spent the rest of the day in the caverns and doing the Spirit's Eve maze for the golden pumpkin. I headed back into the caverns for the last day of fall. I needed more levels in combat, and this was the quickest way I knew. Once I finished the caverns, I opened up a buttload more artifact troves and got some cool items, like the nifty book that gives you a sell price increase on all artifacts. Guys, I swear I have been cutting down and picking up anything and everything in my sight. How am I still level 9 foraging? I checked the traveling cart for the last time in the fall, and she actually had a large brown egg. So I took it to the community center and completed the animal bundle. The greenhouse was officially unlocked, baby. Perfect time to end in the fall. I hit 11 hearts with Haley on the morning of day 85, and I went traversing the snowy town to see if I could find any artifact spots. No luck there though. I set up an iridium sprinkler in the greenhouse for when I do eventually get an ancient seed. Let's do a little progress check. I currently have 29 out of 42 artifacts and 38 out of 53 minerals donated to the museum. I'm alright with this progress, but I would like to at least raise artifacts up a bit. The fish collections tab was only missing fish from the caves, the night market, market in Ginger Island, along with a few from the winter season. I found a crocus and ran to finish the winter foraging bundle, which got us the bridge repair. I tried to set up a place for a large powder melon to grow, but I'm not sure what I was cooking here. You'll see the next morning what I mean. On day 86, I ran to catch the legendary fish of winter, the glacier fish. This took me so long, but after I finally caught him, I stuffed him in a chest for a fish pond later down the road. I went ahead and got the fish I needed from winter out of the way and finished the night chopping hardwood. I started day 87 off with fishing for the goby and chopping the trees that survived the winter. I remembered I had just unlocked the quarry, so I ran over there in hopes to finally max out my foraging, and would you look at that? I chose botanist because iridium quality on everything you pick up is so broken. Day 88, I continued on my fishing journey by catching all the winter lake fish I needed. I also built a stable, finally. A little late in the playthrough, but I don't have to walk like molasses anymore. I got the squid I needed and fished until the end of the night. It was day 89 and all we needed to complete the community center was a nautilus shell, a duck feather, and a rabbit's foot. I grabbed the prismatic jelly task from the special orders board and went to go get the golden scythe. Pretty sick too, because the skulls dropped one of the bone artifacts that I needed. The rest of the day was spent in the mines to get materials for more bombs and level 8 combat also. Days 90 and 91 were spent in the skull caverns. The only goal I had for these runs was to up my combat levels since it was the only thing left to max. Day 92, I woke up to the best surprise from Haley, our 5th star drop, which meant we only needed 2 more to complete our goal. The 2 left being catching all the fish and finishing the museum. I even found a nautilus shell on the beach, so only a duck feather and a rabbit's foot left for the community center. Took place in the Festival of Ice and crushed them, of course, and I got my cute little sailor hat. Day 93, I opened so many artifact troves and geodes, but I only ended with 3 things to donate to the museum. I decided to finally catch the remaining fish I needed before the night market in Ginger Island, and really tried for the cave jelly but did not catch it in time. I started day 94 off with getting the cave jelly, finally, and this was it. All there was left was the void salmon and the slime jack, 3 night market fish, and 3 Ginger Island fish. It was day 95 and I was getting a little worried. Still no duck feather or rabbit's foot, with such a short amount of time left in this challenge. I finally took down that stupid powder melon idea and started laying more paths down to decorate it a little bit more. It looked a little better, but we still had a lot of work to do. Day 96 was Squid Fest. It was my first time ever doing it and I was kind of shocked by how great the prizes were. By the way, I am still actively checking my traveling cart for a rabbit's foot or a duck feather. Again, no luck. I went back and fished for Squid Fest the whole night. No regrets with this one. I mean, look at this hat. How could you not want it? Anyways, the remainder of day 97 just consisted of me grinding combat experience. Level 9 combat, 1 more level to go. Day 98 was a beautiful day because I woke up to a duck feather. I checked the traveling cart for a rabbit's foot, but y'all know how that goes. I used some monster musk and went into the mines for, shocker, more combat grinding. We had 1 more level to go. Day 99 through 101, no rabbit's foot. These were dire times. I used monster musk again and grinded for more combat levels up until the night market started every single day. I headed straight to the submarine where I caught the midnight squid, the blobfish, and the spookfish. I even checked the traveling cart each day for a rabbit's foot there. Nothing. I started panicking and remembered that the serpents you find in the skull caverns have a 0.8% chance to drop a rabbit's foot. This was really my only option at this point if I wanted to complete the community center in time. So on day 102, I set off to the skull caverns and destroyed every serpent that crossed my path. I even had some new ideas to sleep on. Level 10 combat. Everything was left up to this rabbit's foot. Surely it won't take too long, right? It was now day 107, and I was still footless after grinding in the skull caverns for 4 days straight. But I couldn't give up, so I buckled in and went to the skull caverns yet again for the last huzzah. And on day 107 at 9:20 p.m, I had gotten the damn rabbit's foot. Holy shit. I sprinted to the community center and immediately donated it. The community center was restored. On the beginning of day 108, the community center was finally opened and I watched Pierre beat some Morris ass. Beautiful cutscene really, but we had bigger things to do, like unlocking the boat. Oh. Okay, tomorrow then. I went down into the sewer and found Krobus calling the dwarf Shrimpy. I literally laughed so hard at this, but I had my mic muted so you couldn't hear it, but it was a pretty funny cutscene. I fished up the Slimejack and the Void Salmon, and now all there was left for me was to get the 3 Ginger Island fish. After sifting through everyone's mail on 109, it was time to finally unlock the boat to go to Ginger Island. Except when I went to go do that, it was the Feast of the Winter Star, so I couldn't. I attended the Feast of the Winter Star. I attended the Feast of the Winter Star and got 12 eggs from Marnie. Thank you, Marnie. I also spoke to my wonderful wife, Haley, and she caught me so extremely off guard with this sentence. Why don't I just show you when we get home tonight? She's an animal. Sorry, babe, I got things to do. On the morning of day 110, I had finally repaired the boat for Ginger Island. I did a few things to help me prep for Ginger Island, like getting all the gems for the puzzle birds there, but nothing too notable happened on this day. Day 111, it was time. In order to catch all the fish I needed, I had to get so many walnuts to unlock the Pirate Cove. In 2 days, this was highly unlikely since I wanted to get the star drop on the last day, but I still wanted to at least try. We set sail to Ginger Island and got to work getting walnuts. I got the regular ones outside and headed into the volcano for the ones in there. I still have not upgraded my watering can, so yeah, you gotta bear with me here. My goal really was just to get to the top of the volcano on this day, and as you can guess, it took a very long time. I was dodging the monsters like a pro though, and also getting ambushed. I got distracted by the pink bow the dwarf was selling, but no, we must stay focused, brothers. I reached the top of the volcano by 9 p.m. and went back into it to see if I could get any extra walnuts from the monsters and whatnot. I was able to get a few, but had to use a tent so I wouldn't have to rush all the way back here in the morning. Day 112. The final day. I knew I wasn't going to complete my fishing goal at this point, especially since I needed quite a bit more walnuts to even get the stingray. And with a watering can like this, forgive me. Truly. I don't want to waste anyone's time here, so I will speed this part up. I got enough walnuts to unlock the farm and quite a bit more after that, but I knew I was running out of time. So I decided to fish for the blue discus and the lionfish, and I was able to unlock the Ginger Island house with 10 walnuts to spare. I took the final walk to my house and went to bed. Well, how did we do? We completed the community center during year 1, and we collected 5 out of 7 star drops. The only 2 star drops left being catching all the fish and donating every item to the museum. The fishing tab, we had 1 more fish to catch. If I didn't get so unlucky with the rabbit's foot or the festivals, I bet we could have gotten this goal finished. The artifacts and minerals. We donated 33 artifacts and 40 minerals to the museum. That comes up to the grand total of 73 out of 95 items donated. I think we kicked ass on this section. I don't think I've ever gotten that many artifacts in 1 year before. And with maxing all skills, we maxed every single one of them. All in all, I think I did my very best. There were a lot of roadblocks in the way, but we got pretty close to our end goal all around. But hey, what can you do? I had so much fun doing this challenge, so that bears the question. Perfection next?